everyone, are you well? Welcome one and all, my name is Aaron and I like to scratch build things out of everyday junk, and on the workbench today is a boatload of water and nerf pistols. I got this lot from the local charity or thrift store. This is a small fibre optic lamp that I'm going to try and incorporate into this build. This is going to be a test for a future spaceship build I've got in mind. So the lights will be hit or miss on this one. Pretty lights, right? Let's clear the bench and start scratching that build. I start by taking apart the nerf guns. It always amazes me how much stuff comes out of one of these nerf pistols. There's probably more stuff in this than the actual spaceship that took Neil Armstrong to the moon back in 1969. Or did he go to the moon? Locking away that conspiracy theory for another day, I'll start the build with this piece of plastic. It's thin enough to get my drill through for the fibre optic lights. I've also got to work out how I'm going to position the battery pack. I could go all Spider-Man and take it all apart. Not for this build. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible, just like myself. The gods must have been shining down at me, because all I had to do was just nibble out the back end and it actually fitted perfectly, so I'll glue that into place. Then I've got to work out how to cover that but make it detachable, so then I can get into it so I can turn it on and off. I'll work that one out in a bit. In fact, I'll use this lid from the previous water pistol to cover it, but then I've got to work out how I can detach it. Anyway, I'll get to that. This is Greg, my proper drill. It's his first appearance on the channel, so let's give him a little clap. Okay, don't overstay your welcome. I've fallen out with my world's worst cordless Dremel, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making holes so I can twist the fibre around and try and shove as much in the hole as possible. And there's a joke there somewhere, but I'll leave it and keep everything as clean as possible. Now let's remember, this is all trial and error, never done this one before, so it quickly escalates into more comedy of errors with burnt gooey glue fingers and a stream of swear words that the count would probably be, it would be the equal of 5 Joe Pesci films all combined. That's why in this shot you see me wear some rubber gloves, just because then if the glue gets stuck to my fingers it's not gonna burn as fast as it would if I had bare fingers. But yeah, it's starting to come together. Hadn't really worked out that the gooey glue was the bad choice. I'll know for next time. Anyway, once everything is in, I'm gonna screw that together and that job is done. All that needs now is a test for the lights. I'll quickly snip the fibre optics down so they're not sticking out, and then I struggle trying to turn it on, but then yes, there we go, it actually works. Okay, so not as good as what I thought, but the idea and principle is there, so this test is a thumbs up. Feeling rather proud of what I've achieved, I then move on to using pieces of tin foil to fill in the screw holes before putting AK putty over the top. These will be sanded down later. I use this card paper, which is thinner than card but thicker than paper, to use this as the template for when I'm going to cut out the proper piece from styrene. It's going to be really thin styrene because I need it to mould around the fibre optics that are inside the plastic spaceship bit. I use thicker styrene to go over the top of the other side because it was more straighter. That don't make sense because it was straighter, so it was just a straight piece that would just hold everything into place. Once that had stuck, it was to trim everything down and then start building the actual spaceship. Now it's time for the on-off switch. I can't glue the lid down as I need to get to it, so using more cunning than Wile E. Coyote, I opt for magnets. That way I can take the lid on and off. I know, sometimes I amaze myself. Oh, almost forgot, today's code word is Geiger. Remember, if you're going to leave a comment, leave that at the start so I know you got here before zapping through to the end. And what I'm doing here is just cutting up some sprues ready for the greeblies to do the ship later. These are inhalers that a friend gave to me. I took them apart and these will be rockets for underneath the ship. More bits from the Nerf guns were added as rockets. Obviously I thought they looked like engines. So a little nip and tuck and they will become more rockets for the spaceship. Now the spaceship's starting to take sort of shape, and that's me just test fitting the back lid that fits on. Brilliant piece of work there, Aaron. Thank you very much. Then I just added more various greeblies from the Nerf guns and bits of model tank kits. I wanted to make a quick base for the ship to sit on, so I borrowed this heat mat the other half uses for her pots of tea. Don't worry, I left her a piece of cardboard there in its place, so she won't know a thing. I make 2 holes and put some tubes in the holes, then use more of the toy pipes and fashion a little seat for the spaceship to sit on. I then quickly realised that this base is looking a bit Victoria Beckham. So I quickly add to it as using some BBQ sticks and greeblies from one of the water pistols, a bit of chain and some wire pulled from an old electrical cord, and then it'll be off to get a quick spritz of black. Back to the build, 2 empty chewing gum containers will bulk the main body of the ship out. Just need to greebly up the containers a little bit, so I'm going to use these googly eyes which will become windows or something like that. These 2 pulley things came from the Nerf guns. I'll just cover the triangle bit with the cut down bit from the barrel before gluing them onto the ship. I kept looking at this bit for ages and finally decided to add it to the ship. I was going to throw that bit away, but as soon as I put it on top of the spaceship, it just felt like it belonged. Just need to cover the hole, which I'm going to use with this top from a spray bottle. I glued the top bit into place and then looked at it and thought it needed some extra little bits, so I just cut down some of these craft sticks, which basically are coloured sticks that kids use to make stuff with, just to add some visual sort of difference. This empty space was doing my head in until I found this, which is a Kinder toy. I'm just going to glue that into place there, right in the middle, and that will cover that gap. No one will know once it's been painted. Well, that's what I keep telling myself. Onto priming and painting. I added some decals and gave it a little dry brush of copper to the base, and that was done for the base. Onto the ship. I was going to do some weird and wonderful colour scheme on this, but when I'd done the black mat, it suddenly reminded me of the alien head. So I adopted the less is more approach to this and used a tan colour and kind of followed the pattern on the plastic. I then added a pale blue on the parts that I'd missed before using weathering powder, which was rust, black and green, to hide all the dodgy paintwork. I was using the weathering powder sparingly, but it was just to cover the paint marks where things had just sort of bled into each other. I used a white to what I affectionately call now bird poo droppings, and then to blend all that in I just used the green and black. And that is how I scratch built my H.R. Geiger inspired alien spaceship. As always, thank you for continued support. Drop a like, leave a comment, as it apparently helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I'm just trying to grow this channel. So until next time, keep scratching that build, everybody. Here comes the glamour shots.